John Mayer's move from Fender to PRS wasn't a dramatic falling out or a calculated endorsement deal. It was a search for something he couldn't quite find in the vintage giants: collaboration, precision, and innovation. For years, Mayer was one of Fender's most visible modern ambassadors, known for creating warm, expressive tones from his vintage-style Strats. But around 2015, he quietly began reimagining what his ideal guitar could be, and Fender, he said, simply couldn't help him build it. Mayer has clarified multiple times that he didn't leave Fender out of anger. He just wanted to go somewhere that could bring his vision to life. What he was after was a modern evolution of the Stratocaster, same DNA but refined. He called it the future of the classic design. But getting there wasn't easy. When Mayer first reached out to PRS, the response was unexpectedly skeptical. Session ace Tim Pierce recalled that PRS actually hung up on John Mayer, thinking he was a prank caller. To prove he was the real deal, Mayer sent in a selfie holding a note that read, "Yes, it's me," and that got the ball rolling. Mayer's desire was specific: a Strat-inspired guitar with higher fidelity, stripped of annoying sonic artifacts, and built to sound as good as the best vintage Strat he'd ever played, his treasured 1964 model. But he didn't want to simply clone a Strat. He wanted to reverse engineer what made some of the vintage guitars magical and design a guitar where every single one off the line had the same magic. Out of 100 Strats, he said, 2 or 3 are special. The question is, how do you make it 100 out of 100? Enter the PRS Silver Sky. It took 2 years of back and forth with Paul Reed Smith himself, fine-tuning every detail by fractions of a millimeter. They had to strike a balance between 3 key things: maintaining the classic Strat look and feel, introducing meaningful innovations, and keeping the design unmistakably PRS, with the bird inlays, headstock shape, and meticulous build quality. For Mayer, the move to PRS was about communication. "You get to call the guy whose name is on the guitar," he said, "and we get to build stuff together. That's so cool." At Fender, he said it felt like musical chairs. There was no direct line to someone who could actually make something happen. At PRS, Paul Reed Smith was the guy. The risk was massive. A Strat-style guitar from a non-Fender brand was always going to draw fire. But the Silver Sky didn't just survive, it thrived. It's now one of the best-selling guitars on Reverb, and players praise its playability, consistency, and tone. Tim Pierce recalls, "It could have been a huge flop, but we all know now that it's not." Mayer still loves Fender amps. He even encourages players that use the Silver Sky to use them. His departure from Fender wasn't a rejection, it was just a reimagining. He didn't abandon the Strat's past, he just helped to reshape its future.